There are so many aspects that factor into the equation of the impact organized crime has within the community and upon its general population. Therefore, I'll narrow the situations down drastically by focusing solely upon the impact of organized crime dealing with illegal drug trade. In this case, the direct impact is evidently the creation of dependence within certain individuals in society. The aim of drug dealers is to hook newcomers to their merchandise, to in turn make the most profit they can. Not only does this affect the victim of their attack, but also those around that person. However, it's illogical to assume that this is the only side of the coin when referring to the illegal drug trade. The fact that this is present within our society tempts those who are perhaps less fortunate to participate in the trade in objective to make a little extra profit. For some, it's the only way out. And to have this career choice as an option if an individual so chooses is something that is sometimes difficult to fight. The number of percentage of teenage drug use has risen exponentially over the course of the past few years, indicating that this impact is becoming more and more noticeable. Either our generation is, for some reason, in more need of the illusion drugs can offer, or the influence certain drug leaders are instilling upon the population is growing stronger and stronger. Its impact is certainly not positive in any type of way. Whether the consequences be temporarily uplifting or not for a certain individual, things always go bad.
Gangs have a negative impact on the community because they make it unsafe. Most gang members are involved in the sex trade, extortion, home invasions, car theft, weapons, trafficking, and a variety of other criminal activities. However, if a common thread exists in gangs throughout North America, it is likely drug trafficking. They use drug trafficking because it's a quick way to make money and it gives them power. Stating each aspect mentioned throughout the presentation, and each offers solutions to the issues presented based upon our opinions.
The influence of organized crime is a major problem today, something that must be fixed in the years to come to prevent any type of further expansion. A step towards the solution to this issue is to ensure the media's participation upon the matter in terms of ceasing the glamorization of these types of collectives. As long as they portray them to be idolized figures for children and adults alike, we might be capable of reaching a certain progress in positive development.
Since the government is negatively affected by drug trafficking, instead of spending so much of theirs and taxpayers' money on enforcement and only 3% on prevention, they should put that money to better use by putting more of it towards prevention. By doing this, the cost of enforcement would decrease and they would be able to relocate the previously allocated money.
The various reasons presented within the portion of impact upon the population are easily fixed with simple logic. As Wendy stated, if prevention was accentuated throughout a child's teenage years and those to come, usage of these drugs would drastically diminish. By eliminating the possible customers of potential future drug dealers, we effectively extinguish any possibilities of an expansion of drug users. Logic. Instead of punishing those caught in possession of drugs, they should be rehabilitated and reintegrated into society, ultimately for the good of community. Of course, this will not eliminate the entire problem dealing with drugs, but it will aid its positive progress.
To improve the negative effects of drug trafficking and gangs on the community, the government should make more community centers for at-risk youth because most of these criminals are young, and the media should stop publicizing crime and portraying it as cool. This way, young people wouldn't be influenced by this negative message. Instead of crime being glamorized, more positive things should be glamorized.
The Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedoms is pertinent to these factors in different ways, one of which will be emphasized in this portion of the conclusion.
The most pertinent section of the Charter would be 11D. Because when one knows that an individual has participated in any type of illegal activity, they must prove it before being able to convict them. Pretty much, everyone can tell when someone is doing something illegal. The hard part is coming up with proof. Gangs are very secretive so that they don't get caught. And even if someone sees them doing it, they can't report it without any concrete evidence. Otherwise, it's just the word of one man against another.
Exactly like the case of Pablo Escobar, named 7th richest man in the world in 1989, with over $25 billion. Everyone knew what he'd done to attain that type of status, yet he was still placed upon the list because it could not be proven. No tangible proof had been offered to convict him of such an offense. Therefore, he simply had to endure the criticism of the fans instead of an actual incarceration. Eventually, the government negotiated with Escobar, convincing him to surrender and cease all criminal activity in exchange for a reduced sentence and preferential treatment during his captivity.
In conclusion, it's easy to state the multiple repercussions of organized crime. It's another thing completely to do something about it. So what you gonna do about it?